These other agents threatened me. If I do the deal, he's gonna come and kill me and my wife.
Saido Berahino, from making footballs of plastic bags on the streets of Africa to playing in the Premier League in front of millions of people.
And I just remember being young, chasing any plastic bags that you can get to make a football.
Saido's life story truly is a movie. Once regarded as one of the Premier League's brightest young talents, Berahino's career began with a bang in 2013, scoring a hat-trick on his full debut for West Brom.
Yeah, all the home fans, I was getting booed while I'm playing for West Brom at home.
But his potential on the pitch was marred by off-field drama. The infamous Tottenham transfer saga, a notorious tweet, and a lengthy goal drought at Stoke City.
Downfall starts really when Tottenham came calling. I wanted to go, but obviously at the time the chairman didn't want to sell me for a certain figure.
Saido opens up about his struggles with mental health, trouble with the police, and the relentless pressure from the British press.
Anyone in my shoes would have wanted to move on. And he just turned around and said, no, your son's not going anywhere. Hi, I'm Saido Berahino and I'm here to do perspectives for rising ballers. So I was born in Burundi, a place called Bujumbura, which is East Africa. So I grew up in a place where, you know, when you play football, you don't have a proper football, you play with barefooted or sandals. And I just remember being young, chasing any plastic bags that you can get to make a football, and then just playing every afternoon after school or in the weekend. We just used to play football, just football. And growing up, that was the only sport that I knew to do anyway. We didn't have no basketball courts where you can go and play basketball. Yeah. You were forced to kind of play football because everybody knew about football. And then I just remember some big tournaments like the African Cup. I used to always watch it. If you ain't got the channel to watch it, you go in somebody else's neighbor and then just peek through their window and watch the game that way. Yeah, so I just remember growing up loving football, always playing football, loving football.
So when did your mum move to London?
My mum left when I was about 4-ish to come and meet my older sister. My older sister was already living in London. So when I stayed in Burundi, I stayed with like close family, relatives and stuff like that. So when it was the time to come over, I came over England, and then when I got to London, we couldn't really locate my mum, couldn't really find her. I think the guy that brought me had an old telephone number. And at the time, I just didn't speak a word of English, so I wasn't aware of what was happening. But anyway, we ended up going to the police station to find where my mum was. So when we got there, the guy was explaining to the policeman what's going on. And they managed to locate my mum, but I couldn't stay with her because I had to go through a system where you have to do blood tests, DNA tests to actually see if that's my mum. So I went and lived with a family for about 3 months, something like that. Like a Jamaican family, I remember them. And then we went through that. And then, I reconnected with my mum, and then we moved to Birmingham. And then, I just remember when I first saw my mum, it was the best feeling ever.
Really emotional.
Yeah. We both cried. I remember that day. We were both crying.
So what was it like growing up in Birmingham from then on in then? So you didn't speak English. You're about 9-10 years old, living in Birmingham. Yeah, into the concrete jungle, basically.
Literally. In Aston as well, next to Villa Park. Like you said, I was in year 6. I remember going to school, couldn't speak English. The good thing about that school, they gave me a tutor. So every classroom that I went to, I had a French-speaking tutor sitting behind, tried to explain things to me. And luckily, the English school system is not the best. Yeah. I was learning things that I did in year 2, year 3, in year 6, they're very behind. So like maths, for example, like I was doing already algebra in Africa, and then I came in year 6 and it was very easy.
So your education back home was probably better, would you say?
100%.
Really? That's scary.
100%. For primary school, 100% he was. Because, yeah, I passed my SATs without speaking a word of English. That says it all in it, really. Yeah, so football helped me really make friends as well. I remember playing for school in year 6, and then they invited me to a Sunday league school, football team, sorry, called Phoenix United. I played for them for about half a season. Then West Brom came calling. I didn't have a clue who West Brom was. That was funny.
What are your reflections on that period in your life? Do you look back on it fondly?
I loved it actually, because I was living back with my mom, making new friends. Yeah, it was actually good actually, because I wasn't involved in none of the, say bad boys in the area. I was just football, home, school. Had school friends that we went to each other's houses, PlayStation 1 back in the day. Yeah. So, good life.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what was it like in that sort of Birmingham environment? Like, you hear about, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Did you find it dangerous at all? Was it fun?
I found it dangerous when I went to secondary school. When I was younger, wasn't exposed to it. But as you got older and you got to I would say year 9, year 10, then you obviously some of the people that are in gangs are going to your school, because my school was in Aston. Or if you go to a park, certain parks you couldn't go to because you knew you might get asked questions. But apart from that, I had a good life. I had an easy going teenager life, I would say.
Do you remember like any particularly crazy things you saw at school or in Birmingham or anything like that?
Oh, 100%. There's one incident. I think this guy was in a gang and he switched gangs or something, and I just remember after school there was loads of people come to our school outside waiting for him. Really? Loads, yeah. And then somehow the police came, and then all of that got stopped. But yeah, there's been loads of incidents. People used to climb over a school, come and get somebody because either owe money or he's in the wrong gang, or yeah. Because I lived in like Aston. If you know about Aston, like Aston is one of the gangs.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's rewind a little bit. So you're playing Sunday League. You say it was Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix United. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Talk me through that like football journey and how West Brom sort of approached you.
So yeah, I signed for Phoenix United. I played for about half a season. I remember it, and it was me and the other striker called Troy. We got invited to go for trials at West Bromwich. We went there for about 6 weeks trials. And like I said to you, at the time, I didn't know who West Brom was. Because, in Africa, you only know the big clubs, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. So when I got called up there, I didn't know.
You saw it was another Sunday League team.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you would say pretty much. But then when I got there, I saw how professional it was. And I quickly realized, oh, okay. Then the 6 weeks was intense. It was different because that's probably the first time, after obviously the Sunday League, it was the first time to be in a professional environment. Yeah, and then the 6 weeks went well. They wanted to sign me, and then Troy didn't get signed, so it was just me. And then yes, I know, yeah. But he got signed. It's funny. He didn't make it then, but he signed later on.
To West Brom.
Yeah, under 14s. So after 2 years, he came back, and then he didn't get a scholarship. Yeah, so me and him played well together, to be fair, up front. We scored loads of goals. So yeah, and then that was it. That was the beginning of it. I didn't know how serious it was until I got to under 14s.
Really?
That's when.
I was going to ask you, like, how big was the lifestyle change?
No, 3 times was over. I didn't have enough me time, let's say, for example. You're always thinking about, I need to play well. I don't want to get released, because every year they'll release somebody. And a few times I thought I was going to go.
Really?
Yeah, to be fair, under 12s and the 13s wasn't my best years. There was way more better strikers. I don't know what they saw in me. But when I got to under 14, that's when things really clicked and changed. And the manager that I had really liked me, because my mum never drove, so he used to pick us up, me and this other kid. So every time he picked me up, he'd give us advice. His name is Mark Harrison, by the way. I think he's at Aston Villa now. He completely changed the way I looked at football as well.
When did you sort of realise the opportunity that you had? Because it's like, you know, you're just playing football as a kid, but when did you realise, okay, I'm on a path to be a Premier League player here?
I think when I started playing for England, under 16s, I think the tournament was called Victory Shield. It was on telly, Sky Sports, and I was still in school then, I think. Yeah, I was still in school in year 11, yeah. So when I saw the reaction...
So you didn't really appreciate like the opportunity you had to about 16?
Yeah, I didn't realise, yeah, because you're just playing with your friends. You didn't realise it can actually... I didn't dream to be playing in Premier League. Like, I just thought, look, I've got to go through these steps and then see where it takes me. You know what I mean? Because I grew up with our father, so, and my mom wasn't really into football, so I didn't know the journey and what it takes to get to where I got to. So under 16 is when I start realizing, when I got called up for England, I was like, oh, okay, I must be doing something right, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, and I remember the reaction of my friends at school. That's when I started realizing, okay, then if I can be involved with other kids from Arsenal, Man United, then I must have a good chance. I always wanted to be a footballer, but nobody knew the professional side of it, let's say. You know what I mean? You just think, oh, he plays football, I want to be like him. And then that's it. I just remember being a crazy fan of Zidane as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we referenced the England call up, the 16s, and how that sort of changed everything for you. So talk me through that experience. So you played it was the Victory Shield, did you say?
Yeah. I just remember it was me and this other boy called George Fawn in the same West Brom team. He was a midfielder, I was a striker. We got called in the office by an academy manager, and it was like, look, you got called up for England, this, that, and the other. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what, me? But and then yeah, we went there, we met up. I can't remember what hotel it was, and then I only played one game, but George, I believe, played 2 or 3. I played against Scotland, and then we won the cup, I think 2-0 or something like that. Yeah, so it was a great experience. It's great because you get to train with other lads around the, other big clubs, and you just test yourself. You've seen what level you are, and I found them. I used to love going to play for England because you come back more advanced. Yeah.
What was the youth setup like? Did it improve you as a player? Did you learn a lot?
At England? Oh yeah, definitely. Because I played through all the age groups, 16, 17, all the way to 21s, and I got called up once for the seniors. So yeah, it's lovely, man, because like I said, like you're playing with one of the best players in the country, and the competition is always like high because everybody wants to play. So you come back, like I used to come back to West Brom, I feel like I'm sharper, more intelligent player. So I used to just love it. I used to love going up there.
It's really mad when you think about it. You're like, what's that, a 10-year period? You literally went from playing football in Africa with plastic bags to playing at St George's Park with like the best, I don't know, 23 players in the country. Do you ever reflect on that? Like, what?
Not really. Now you've said it, I kind of look back.
In 10 years, that's a movie, is it not?
It was mad. At times I was pinching myself, to be fair. Especially when I got called up for the seniors. That was like crazy. I remember we played Slovenia, sorry, at Wembley. I didn't get on. And I just remember warming up, looking around, like almost 80,000 people in the stadium, thinking, wow. Like, yeah, I was thinking, can't believe it.
That's literally the stuff you watched on TV.
Can't believe it. It's like, you remember FIFA game where you could have your own player? It felt like that. It felt like that. It was unbelievable, man. And I was actually glad I didn't come on because I was nervous as hell that day. Yeah, I was nervous as hell. Yeah.
Cool. So let's rewind a little bit again. So what's going on at West Brom? How are you getting on there whilst you're at England?
Once I'm in England, it makes it a little bit easier, isn't it, to get pushed through, playing the age group above, train with the first team. Just because you're playing for England, and like you're improving more and more. And I remember under 17s, I think I got a cup. I played in a cup. No, I travelled, sorry. I didn't play in the first team. I travelled with Roberto Di Matteo. He was the manager. I travelled, sat on the bench, didn't get on. Yeah. And then as I got a bit older, I played a lot of reserve football from under 16s. Northampton came calling and they wanted me to go there on loan, youth loan. So that's where it all started then. So I went up there, I think I scored 6 in 14, got sent back. I went to League One, Brentford, in January. Scored 4 in 8, got sent back because there was an incident that I don't want to go talk about. And then...
So they sent you back?
Yeah, they sent me back. They sent me back, and then Roy Hodgson was the coach at the time.
Okay, at West Brom.
Yeah, he went just crazy, he went mad. I just
You really clever into the story.
Nah, it's a stupid story, man. It's stupid. So my friend, something happened at the hotel that I was staying, so I had to get sent back.
Okay. And how yeah. How old were you at that point?
18, I'll say around 18, yeah.
Did the loans help you, by the way?
100%. The Northampton one was crazy. I used to call my academy manager, please let me come back. I lost all 14 games, by the way. It's not really funny. Yeah, we're fighting relegation, and I was playing up front with Akifemo, right? Akifemo. So I was playing off Akifemo. I was scoring goals, but it was just playing every day. You know you're gonna lose. It was a horrible feeling.
Really?
Oh, it's horrible. I used to call, like after a game, I'll come back to Birmingham and I'll call my academy manager, Dan Ashworth. He's at Newcastle now, no? Oh. Yeah, I'm like, please let me come back. He's like, no, you need to stay there. Yeah. I was lucky Brentford came calling. That's why I left. And in January I went to Brentford in League One. And then that season ended. And then the following season, Peterborough came calling. Darren Ferguson, Alex Ferguson's son. It wasn't so good there. I think I scored like 2 in 10. Got injured. I got my knee operation. That's when things changed.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did that change things?
Because I took care of myself a bit more, like in the gym. I never used to do gym. Like I say on camera, and it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I would stay outside and do finishing practice for hours and hours. But in the gym, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's boring.
Yeah. But when I did my patella tendon, it snapped. I took care of myself a bit more.
Really?
Yeah. And that's how I managed to break through West Brom, because I went away for about 11 months, did my rehab, came back, and then I got into the first team like that.
Really? What did you just get like in super sharp and that?
I lost a lot of weight, came back, and nobody could believe how I looked.
Really?
Yeah, I remember. And then pre-season went really well. I trained with the first team. I stayed with the first team. My agent was thinking, let me take him on loan. And Steve Clark was the manager at the time. He was like, hell no, we need you to stay. And that's when things changed. And then the 850 we spoke about.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So you come back, you're super sharp, you're killing it. Manager wants you. What happens? Then everything explodes, right? At the time, you're like a bit of a prospect. People are talking about you probably online, like who's this England kid?
Exactly.
But you hadn't really
shown any of it, especially in the first team anyway.
Did you feel that hype around you?
No, not the hype. When I started playing for the West Brom first team, then yeah. Before that, a lot of reserve games under my belt. I've scored a few. I've managed to play obviously in front of our fans and stuff like that. And then I got my first start in the League Cup, and then I scored a hat-trick in the first half.
Who was that against?
Newport, I think, yes. So when I scored that, that's when everything changed. And then that same week, I played in the Premier League against Swansea. I made my debut. And then yeah, every week I would play 10 minutes, 15, 5, until the Man United game, when somebody got injured in the first half, Scott Sinclair, and I came on from the 30th minute, and I would just like play really well, and I managed to score. And then that's when everything changed.
That's quite mad. Okay, cool. So tell me about how that changed things. Let's talk about the contract situation, for example.
Yeah, so my agent at the time felt like I deserve a contract, which I definitely did. I don't know how it got in the press, but after I scored against Man United, there was a big article about me scoring at Old Trafford on 850 a month, which I was not in. It wasn't a month; it was a week. And then yeah, so everybody started asking me questions. Are you really on 850? I was like, yeah. And then my agent was like, all right, you need a new contract. Then like, they need to give you something. So the negotiation didn't take that long because I wanted to stay. I think we signed the 4 years, and then he went up to 15 a week, which I got myself a house for me and my mom, moved in together, and then yeah,
How old were you when you got that contract?
about 21, 20.
So you went from 850 a week to £15,000 a week at 21.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think that impacted you looking back on it?
I loved it because I could get I could get my mom a house. We were nice. Mom didn't have to work anymore, so she stopped doing that. Because at the age of, for my first professional contract, which was about 17, I was paying for I was renting a home. I was paying. So at the 850 a month, I'll have like 900 for the house where we used to stay out, because I always lived with my mom. So it was always nice to take that weight off her. But she always wanted to work because she was bored staying at home. But then when I got my big contract, I said, you can't work anymore. Because the job that she was doing was hurt her back and stuff like that. So I didn't want her to go through that. And then we moved to a bigger home. More family members moved in. But yeah, it was a good time. I can't look back and say regret it. Like you said, in 10 years a lot happened, and then in 15 there was more to come. Like, yeah, it was a great time.
Cool. So you're scoring against Arsenal, scoring against Man United, first team in a Premier League club. You're on a really good contract now at a young age, playing for England youth teams. What happens from here? How did things go from there on in?
I kept rising the bar. My second season, I scored 14, I think. Altogether was 20, all competition. Then obviously I got called up for the seniors. Didn't get on, but it was a good experience getting to train like Sir Wayne Rooney, Danny Welbeck. It was unbelievable. And then, yeah, then the downfall starts really when Tottenham came calling, and it never happened. And I wanted to go, but obviously at the time the chairman didn't want to sell me for a certain figure. Yeah, so that's when the downfall really started, really, for me, because I kind of took my eye off the game. It was more, I was getting exposed to the business side of football, which I had no clue about. And at the time, the agent that brought the deal on the table, he got me involved too much in it. I should have been kept away from it. And then, yeah, that distracted me a lot.
Let's just pause. So you got the call up for the England seniors. What was it like training with those guys? So who was in the England team at the time? You said Rooney.
Danny Welbeck, Luke Shaw, Raheem Sterling, Chamberlain. Harry Kane was not yet. I'm trying to think if Gerrard was in it. I'm sure Gerrard was. It was a lot of them. It was when they were wearing the dark blue shorts and the white Nike top.
Were you nervous when you got that call up?
Not really, because when you play for under 21s, sometimes when they need extra numbers, you train with the seniors. So I kind of seen them before, trained with them before, so it was good. It was actually a good experience.
What are your memories of like training with those players?
Oh, jokes. Really? Yeah, it's different level, man. Like, I thought I had a great first touch, a good finish, until you see Rooney train and guys like that, you say, you got a lot of work to do, man. Really? Yeah. And the level of training is so high where they don't even speak when they're training. It's like, you can just hear the ball, bam, bam, bam. Everybody's just like fully focused. Like, sometimes when you train, you can have a laugh and talk about, nah, it was just straight to business. And then, yeah, He was proper serious. Yeah.
Who was Wayne a joke?
Oh, he was a joke, man. Finishing, passing, unbelievable player.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking and thinking, oh my God, what am I doing here? Nah, he was really good, man.
That again, like going back to what I said earlier about how where you came from to where you got to, it's mental. Literally, like Wayne Rooney wasn't kicking ball with a plastic bag in Africa, bro.
I'm sure he was doing something in the streets still, playing football and back in Liverpool. And he just turned around and said, no, your son's not going anywhere. And I came on and the whole stadium was like, boo. If I do the deal, he's going to come and kill me and my wife at home, whatever. In football, it's about 90%, it's all in your head.
All this hype, England senior team, you sort of started going into it a little bit. So then you said the downfall for you started when the Tottenham interest came in.
Yes.
So what happened? You're playing at West Brom and you realised clubs wanted to sign you.
Yeah, well, agents wanted to sign me first. I already had my own agent, but agents were calling my phone, so I gave my number, and then I met this agent. He promised me to take me to Tottenham, which happened. Everything was kind of done, but then West Brom didn't want to sell me.
Why did you want to leave?
Tottenham is up and there's another step, so...
You just wanted to progress?
Yeah, I just kept wanting to progress.
You've been told there was an opportunity and you were like...
Why not? Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think anyone in my shoes would have wanted to move on. Obviously, it was a good club, big club. No disrespect to West Brom. So I just felt like at the time, the coach was Pochettino. How'd you say it? Pochettino, sorry, yeah. And he promised, he said a lot of nice things to me. So I felt like if I go there, I would definitely progress. And he showed it anyway with that team, what he did when with the Hurricanes, Kyle Walker and stuff like that. So I felt it was the right time for me also to go, but it didn't happen.
So what happened? Because obviously there's the famous thing about you tweeting and stuff, and the deal didn't go through and things like that. But like, what happened from your perspective? Why did that not happen? So West Brom wouldn't let it happen, basically.
So West Brom, the chairman at the time was not very vocal. He was just straight businessman. And everybody knows in football, West Brom's chairman at the time and Daniel Levy, they're the two worst people when it comes to doing business, because they just do business their way. And then my mom kind of spoke to the chairman and was just like, look, it's a good opportunity for the kid. Whatever you get, he comes from academy, let him go. And he just turned around and said, no, your son's not going anywhere. So that's what made me tweet.
Okay. Do you know why he wouldn't let you go? Did he?
Yeah, I found out. Yeah, I found out because the deal that was on the table was really bad. So I'm the top scorer at West Brom. We had an all right season, and Tottenham want to sign me for I think it was 20 million, but 1 million up front and the rest in installments. So that's hard you can't replace me then. What are you gonna do 1.5 million unless you go and find a kid from, I don't know, somewhere else that's gonna get you double figures. So I think in his defense, the chairman, he said, no way. And he valued me at 30 million because he was going to sell the club. So if he sold me for 20, then he wouldn't, you know what I mean? So he wanted that 30 because he put the valuation of his asset or whatever it is. I was on 30.
So from what you said, it basically sounds like Daniel Levy was giving him a bit of a bad deal for his perspective. And then and by selling you for that, it would devalue the club, which obviously kills him. So you were a bit of a victim of circumstance and football politics and business. How long did you have on your contract?
Left. Yeah. When they first came, I had 2 years left. I left West Brom with 6 months to go.
Yeah. We'll come to that. So he's rejected the Tottenham deal. You're fuming, and you've tweeted.
Yeah. I only tweeted because of the way he spoke to my mom. Before that, I wasn't getting involved, but he spoke to my mum in a way where I felt like he owned me, you know what I mean? And I saw my mum crying, and I was like, nah, that hurt me more than him saying no for me to go to Tottenham. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when he said that, that's when I tweeted, and then not thinking, when you're in that space, you don't really think.
Do you remember what you tweeted exactly?
I will never play for Jeremy Pearce again.
And he's the chairman. Yeah.
And you know the funniest thing, right? I said
Talking about your boss.
he didn't even mention it once.
Oh, really?
He didn't even care. He didn't care. But I remember somebody at Sky Sports messaged me like, "Wow, oh my God, do you got anything else to say?" They wanted more.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, "What the hell? What did I just do?" I tried to delete it, but obviously it's too, it was gone. It's too far.
How old were you when you did that?
Oh man, what, 23, 24 maybe?
Well, do you regret that?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Why?
Because it looks so immature. So child. It's so childish.
Yeah. So yeah, what happened as a result of your tweet? Sky Sports with the MG.
Sky Sports like tried to get more information, and then all the newspapers were like putting this out, and then all the fans started hating me. Yeah, all the home fans. Yeah, all the home fans. I was getting booed like while I'm playing for West Brom at home. So I remember one game against Middlesbrough. I was playing, and I came on, and the whole stadium was like boo. And then who's that player? Downing, Stuart Downing. Remember saying, he was like, "What the hell did you do to them?" He's like, "What are they booing you for?" I was like, "What do you think?" Yes, I remember that.
Oh God. Okay. Cool. So what happened after the transfer saga? So you couldn't go to Tottenham. You're gutted. What was going through your head at that point? You just didn't want to be there, I guess.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave because I was getting booed by the home crowd. The love relationship that we had kind of went. The senior players weren't really giving me any time of the day. You know what I mean? So it became really a bit hard. Tony Pulis came. He was actually, I had a right relationship with him. He came to my house to visit me because they all wanted me to sign a new contract.
Okay. Oh, so they wanted to keep you?
Yeah, wanted to give it. I still got a contract in my email actually, but I said no. It was too late because Jeremy was leaving then, and somebody else was coming. I should have stayed really. Looking back, I definitely should have stayed.
Right. So stuff's not good at West Brom. You've made they make the decision that they agree to let you leave. You've turned down a new contract. Oh, didn't they offer to make you highest paid player?
Yeah.
So they offered to make you highest paid player, but you still turned it down.
Yeah, because it wasn't about the money then. I just wanted to leave. I'll tell you actually, the day that I found out that I was going to Stoke, I think it was like a Thursday or Friday in January. I got a call. I'm at home. I got a call. The sporting director's like, "Yeah, we've agreed a deal for you to go to Stoke. Hurry up and go there and do a medical." I'm like, "What? I don't want to go to Stoke."
Was it the agent that rang you? Yeah.
No, the sporting director at West Brom. I was like, "I don't want to go to Stoke." I've met the coach. Kind of spoke to him, but I had offered. I had Newcastle, I had Crystal Palace, I had Watford, but obviously they were the highest. So I got kind of pushed. It's like, right, we've agreed a deal. Just go. I was like, I don't really want to go, but it was too late then. So I went up there, did my medical, very fast, signed, and then the following week I went to Stoke.
So you're saying you've already said that you think that move was a mistake, right? You regret that move?
Same, because Stoke and West Brom were like, I'm not bettering myself going Stoke. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I get that. So you regret the move, you felt like you were kind of pressured into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Looking back on that, like, why do you think that happened? Do you think you lacked guidance? Do you think you needed better people around you? Why do you think you made that mistake?
Yeah, 100%. I think, like I said, obviously my family's they don't know really much about football, especially when it comes to transfers, contracts. I don't think a lot of people are equipped into that. So so the people around me at the time, I was leaving my agent, I was going to somebody else. So everybody was looking at me maybe for a quick cash out. The advice that I got at the time, no one really said to me, "Don't go Stoke" or "Don't go here." I didn't have that conversation. Everybody was trying to kind of help me with my mind frame, like my mindset, mentally, how I was feeling, why I was not enjoying West Brom anymore. So people were trying to help me that way instead of telling me what to do in my career. So yeah.
With the Stoke move, there was a lot of drama behind the scenes with agents and things like that. Can you talk to us about that?
Oh, so at the time when I was signing with Stoke, I was kind of working with, but then there was over people involved that wanted to do the deal, and I remember calling me and saying, "Look, I can't be with you at Stoke to sign the deal because these other agents threaten me. If I do the deal, he's gonna come and kill me and my wife at home, whatever." And I just couldn't believe it. So this other guy turned up. I don't want to say his name because to this day I freaking hate the guy. So he came, we did the deal, we signed the deal, and I think them two had an agreement behind closed doors for the agency fee. So then when my contract was terminated at Stoke, came for me to get his money. So he actually came for me. He tried to sue me for different things because when I was working with him.
So sorry, just to pause. So the agent you actually signed with on the day, he was the one that was threatening.
Yeah.
And let him go.
Yeah, let me go. Yeah. So he didn't come and sign the deal with me. Okay. And then when my contract was terminated at Stoke, he came for me. He sued me. So you know what he sued me for? He sued me for, you know, when you're an agent, some agents will pay a flight for his clients, will book whatever stuff. So he's booked for certain flights for me. He actually gave me a chef that I didn't need. I lived with my mom. So that bill, he sued me for that. He sued me for flights.
Not paying back?
Yeah. Oh, okay. And you know what, I should sue him actually because what he made me do was really bad. So he sued me for certain things, like he's gave me money to do certain stuff. He sued me for all of that. So I had to pay him like 250k back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so this is how, you know, not all agents are bad, but some agents are really bad.
So what's your view on that though? Do you think is a bad guy or the other guy or both?
I think is a bad guy because he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew by coming take me on, not being his client, just doing a deal, he knew what to do because he's done it before. I'm sure he's done it to the other footballers where you do all the nice things for the player so the players keep happy, and then if a deal doesn't go through, you sue the person, you ask for your money back.
So what happened with the other agent?
Never spoke to him again.
Oh really? He just turned up, did the Stoke deal,
did a Stoke deal, and then that was it.
Oh my God.
Literally.
People don't realise how messed up this
super messed
stuff is behind the scenes in football.
It's super messed up, and you know what? Sometimes I think to myself, like, why do you actually need an agent? Because an agent might be good, but as a player, if you're doing well, and I'm sure a lot of players have lawyers, for example, if you want to sign a deal, negotiate with a club and have a lawyer look over it. And not saying that agents are bad people, but I sometimes think certain agents, you get paid for nothing. Yeah. Because you have almost 500 players on your book. You're not going to call each one of them, how was your game? How was your game? To go. Some players just see their agents when they sign a new deal. Yeah. And that's sad. That is really sad. Some players might love that. Some players might want their one-to-one. But I think being an agent, you don't really need an agent as a player unless you're struggling to get to a team, and you know you need somebody with good contacts that can help you in that way. That's yeah.
How looking back, like how important do you think your environment and the people you surround yourself with is as a footballer?
It's massive. I would say sometimes to people, like the people that you're around is your engine. It's like what a car has. If them people around you are toxic or they're not good, then you'd be in a garage every day. Yeah. You'd be needing to, you need to have that kind of support system around you. Because in football, it's about 90%, it's all in your head. You can be the fastest, you can be the best, body, whatever, technically gifted. If mentally you're not right, you can't play the sport because 90% of it is probably in your head. So yeah, sport system is the biggest I will ever say to any youngsters watching this. If you ain't got that right, you ain't gonna go far.
Hear that. So you moved to Stoke.
Yeah.
What happened? How old were you when you made that move?
24, 25.
You should be like going into your prime at this point.
Yeah, should have been, but it felt like I was going through retirement. No, you know what? Everybody asks me about Stoke. We got relegated, right? And I look back and on paper, we had Shaqiri, Bojan, Glenn Johnson, Peter Crouch, Jack Butler, and Ryan Shawcross. The team was actually very good, very good. We had players that have played in the World Cup, players that have Champions League. We just had it was so segregated.
Really?
Oh, it was so bad. We had the foreigners on one side, English guys on one side, but because I can speak French, I hang around with the French boys a bit more.
Yeah.
We even had 2 group chats.
Really?
That's how bad it was. It's really bad.
Changing room was not together.
Not together one bit. Yeah, so that's why, I don't know, maybe the Glenn Johnson came out and said some stuff, Peter Crouch has come out and said some stuff. They kind of all blame the foreigners. Waste of money, because they were used to a culture where, you know, with Tony Pulis that's been there before, all English lads, you know, the same banter and stuff. And when yes, and when different cultures came in, it was a bit too, you know, too segregated. It was very bad. It was just bad, and I think that's why we never succeeded. Literally, I think that's why we never succeeded.
I get that. So what was going through your mind? So what happened like when you first joined, started playing? How were you dealing with everything mentally? Were you ready for the challenge or what?
Obviously, it took me a while to get going, but once I felt comfortable in the team and started being myself, I did the best I can. I remember I signed in January, and that's following summer. I didn't go anywhere. I just trained, tried to stay as fit as possible to go back. Because at West Brom, I did miss a lot of football as well, because I wasn't playing regularly, because I was with the reserve and stuff like that. I started well, and then Mark Hughes got sacked. Another coach came in. Then he got sacked. Another one came in. Then we got relegated. Then the best coach I ever had at Stoke was Gary Rowett. Gary Rowett just came, and then he was like, look, clean slate for everyone. If you work hard, you get in my team. And also, I was working with Kevin Phillips. Obviously, I grew up watching Kevin Phillips from West Brom. I used to be ball boy. I used to watch them play at West Brom, and he was a prolific goal scorer. Yeah. So when I started working with him, actually, you know, starting getting some confidence back, scoring, because like you said, before that, I went for like a year not scoring. Yeah. So that was tough. But when Kevin came and we just worked together, it was really good. And I got to work with Benik again, Benik Afobe, that I've been playing with for England. So yeah, things started going well. And then he got sacked. So at the time I was at Stoke, I think I had 4 managers, if that, yeah. And I was only there for about 2.5 years. So I had loads. 4 managers, yeah. When mentally I was lowest of the lowest. I wanted to quit. You start to question yourself, like, you messed up big time. This group of lads decided to come and jump me, take him a watch chain, and they just left.
So how did the goal drought sort of start at Stoke then?
Just not being able to feel comfortable in a team. Really? Yeah. I'm used to, like at West Brom, I was playing almost like a second striker, playing behind someone. And when I went to Stoke, I was just number 9 by myself. And then the game style was kind of different to West Brom. So it took me a while to get going. And obviously I've played for other teams before. I've played as a striker alone before. But I don't know, something just didn't click at West Brom, at Stoke City. So yeah.
And then, so how long was the period that you went without scoring?
A whole season, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What are your memories of that? How did that impact you personally?
It's horrible. You can't go on social media because that's the first thing you see. People making pages of, just Berahino can't hit a band or whatever it was. Yeah, so the social media is what kills it. It's funny though, because I actually laughed as well. I got off Twitter, deleted that. Delete that. Yeah, I should do that from the West Brom. Yeah. And then, yeah, so even when I used to go to away other stadiums, that's Berahino can't score a goal. Berahino can't score a goal. Yeah. Yeah.
So it impacted you a lot mentally. You struggle with it.
Of course, yeah, because as a striker, you live on goals, innit? So if you can't score a goal, then you feel like you're not doing something for the team.
When did it really start to go wrong at Stoke? Because I was reading about how there were periods where you like weren't turning up to training or you didn't go in and things like that. And when did all that sort of start to happen?
When mentally I was the lowest of the lowest.
Really?
Yeah.
During the goal drought.
Yeah. During not just that, and just things not going well. Being in the press every other week. I had paparazzi come to my house, way outside the house. People were selling stories on me, anything that I do. Some were fake, by the way. A lot of it was fake. But I just remember having conversation, going into offices, managers' offices, and they just put newspapers. What the F is this? I'm like, that's not true. Yeah. Oh, no, you always say this. I'm like, call them and find out. I had to pay someone to go and speak to the Sun to find out where they're getting these stories. They told that person that, people around me are doing this, are calling in, getting a quick buck. And then, yeah, so that itself just made me want to, just swallow my freaking, just get swallowed by the ground. And some days I'll wake up and I don't want to go training because it was that bad. I just locked myself in the room. Stoke tried to help, gave me a psychologist, didn't help. Because what I found out, right, so my house was getting redone, right, and the psychologist comes to work with me. We sit in one of the rooms, and obviously there's people around the house painting and doing whatnot. He goes back to West Brom, to Stoke, and says I was having a party. There's a lot of people around the house. But you can see the house is literally upside down. So from that incident, I just hated the fact that we're having a private moment, and you've gone back and lied that I'm having a party, which was hard to take. And then I just thought maybe all psychologists are like this. So instead of me going to get the real help that I needed, I just didn't speak to no one.
Yeah, you basically didn't know who you could trust, kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. So I went through that period of just not trusting anyone, and I've had moments with coaches that I've cried in front of them, trying to tell them, like, look, I need help. And they've tried to help, but it was just not working.
Do you think, like, I mentioned this to you earlier, like, you've got a bit of a reputation, I think, in the media and stuff as being a bit of like a party player and stuff. Do you think that's justified? Like, against like what you saw your teammates doing and what other players do and the lifestyles they live, do you know what I mean? Because, like Rooney, for example, Wayne Rooney, you're telling me about how incredible he was in England training. Yeah, he liked to party as well, though.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does it, you know? And I think at the time I wasn't doing something crazy. I wasn't at all. But obviously, like I said before, in England, we tend to have one player that we always pick on in the media. And every year is somebody different. And I think that was my time. I was selling the newspapers, so they followed me around everywhere I went. And yeah, I think it's just sad, really, because certain things, that was being said in the press wasn't true. And that hurt my relationships that I had with my family, my friends, because there was a lot of nonsense. I think 80% of it was rubbish. And every time I meet someone, they're like, oh my God, you're not that person I read in the newspaper. I'm like, what do you think? They don't know me. They're just writing whatever they want to write. So, yeah.
Can you give us some examples of like some ridiculous false stories that were, put out about you?
There was one about I called a lady to my house, met her and did whatever, and I was playing FIFA, and then she made a comment that I can't score in real life, but I can score on FIFA. That was some nonsense.
And that was just complete lie. That never happened.
Yeah, and then the got 3 women pregnant at the same time. That's another lie. To be fair, that went worldwide. I was getting calls from Africa like, is it true you got 3 women pregnant the same week? I'm like, what the hell? That was crazy. Till now, people ask me when they meet me, they're like, is it true? Yeah. Is it true? What else? And just petty stuff like drink driving. That they were true. Got caught drink driving twice, which is I regret, especially the last one. But the last one was out of my control because I was getting robbed in London, so I had to move the car because I was scared. But I mean, it was. If I tell you the fine, you're gonna laugh.
Yeah, go on. Let's jump into that story then. So this happened whilst you were at Stoke, right?
I was at Stoke. It was a Thursday, Wednesday night. Went to a brunch, then we was gonna head back home to Birmingham, and then we decided to pop somewhere to eat. Fun, innit? We've just been to a brunch and we're going to eat late night. But anyway, and then so yeah, this group of lads decided to come and jump me.
Where you're in London?
Yeah, next to Chelsea. Come to jump me, took my watch, took my chain.
Did they know who you were?
Yeah, as soon as I stepped out the car, the first one was like, Berahino, what are you doing here? Yeah. So they knew exactly who I was. Probably somebody tipped them off. And then, yeah, they just came in the car. I was with my ex at the time, took her bag. So I decided to run. They had knives, I had a gun. Yeah, and where I got robbed, right, this is, I know sometimes the crime is really bad. So I was running and I tripped and I landed on the main road in London and the bus stopped right there. And you can see these 4 lads on top of me. I even got the video of that. Just fighting me, pushing me, punching me, taking my watch chain, and they just left. And no one at the bus said anything. They just watched. And then I got up and I went by my car and I got in the car and I drove literally around the corner. But the police has been called. Through the people can see through the glass door in the restaurant. And then, yeah, the police came and they saw me parked up. And they were like, you've been involved in a fight. And then obviously being scared, I said no. And they went, left, came back again. And they're like, right, you seem a bit like drunk. Then they breathalyzed me and that's how I went to you.
So what happened regarding...
They robbed nothing. I literally told the whole story. They seen the CCTV, they seen everything. And they didn't care about that. All they cared about was they knew that, okay, I play football. So if I get done, I'll probably have to pay a hefty fine. And then the fine was crazy. It's 90,000.
You got 90,000 pounds?
Yeah, which I didn't pay, by the way, because I appealed that because that's ridiculous. Yeah. So I paid some of it, paid about 10, 15K, and that was it. So I appealed and I said, this is ridiculous. Yeah, that's what I cared about, really. And like, I remember even court day, paparazzi were there again.
What happened, like, regarding the robbery, though? Like, all the stuff you had stolen,
Literally
watches, chains, did you get any of that money back? Was any of it
Nothing.
insured? You just lost it all?
Or lost it all.
And that was that?
They didn't care. I got interviewed once about it, tell me the incident, what happened. Told them everything. They had CCTV, they could see everything. And they didn't do nothing.
Do you think that is people seeing Premier League footballer, he's super rich, you know, let's just get onto him or whatever? Like, do you think that was the thing? Do you think you were like a victim of your status, maybe?
100%. Even when I got arrested, I remember the police officer that day was like, "Oh, you play for West Brom, innit? You was that kid." It's like, yeah, all right. You're gonna sleep in the cell today, like laughing. And you can't do anything about it because that's their field, innit? They can arrest if you do something wrong. Then I guess they can arrest you.
Didn't you say something about the police leaking the story to the...
Right. So, right, I got arrested, I would say around 2 o'clock in the morning. By 6 a.m., I'm still in the cell. I've come out.
Did you have training that day?
No, I had a reserve game that evening.
Okay. So you just didn't show up to that?
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So I came out the cell and my agent straight away was like, Daily Mail's calling me. Is it true you're in the cell? What the hell is that? I was like, oh. So I told him and he's like, well, yeah, okay, I'll come get you. I was like, no, I'm gonna go home. So the press knew it straight away 4 hours after. Somebody leaked it, as they do. and got a little change, and then yeah, just kept it moving.
So you're saying you got arrested at 2, the story went out by 6 a.m. Within those 4 hours, it must have been someone in the police station that leaked the story.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because it's not gonna be the people I was with, because I was just my missus. She's not gonna do that.
How did that, looking back on it now, how did that whole experience like impact you mentally? Are you more vigilant when you go out now?
Oh yeah, you get paranoid. Yeah. You really do get paranoid. That's why I say, like, if you have a group of friends or family members that really care about you and can tell you when you're wrong and when you're right, you can stay close to them. Because if you live with people, especially when you're football, if you live with people or work with people that just yes, they just say yes to everything that you do, and they don't kind of, hold you accountable for anything, then you might fall really deep. So you need people that can hold you accountable for your actions. And I think I was, obviously, it was my doing as well, being out there, exposing myself. Yeah, so it makes you very paranoid. Makes you very paranoid, and you don't get to have that trust. So yeah, that was part of my story.
This is a really dark period in your life.
Oh yeah.
Like when you actually think about it, like, football's not going well for you. You're going through this difficult time at a club you didn't even want to be at. Changing rooms fractured. You're then getting in trouble with the police. You're getting robbed in the streets. Lose your stuff. Getting battered in the press. You don't know who to trust. Friends are leaking stories about you. Police are leaking stories about you.
Yeah.
You're on a goal drought.
Yeah.
Like, how this must have killed you.
Can't get any worse, innit?
And how old are you? Like 25?
25, 26, going 27.
Is that when like depression really hit you?
I wanted to quit.
Really?
Yeah. That was it. That for me was like, all right, I don't want to play anymore. Because what are you playing for? There's no happiness. The one place that you thought, you can go turn up to training, have no stress, train, do what you love doing since a young age, you can't even enjoy anymore. Because the same people, if I come late, he's leaked in the press. I remember one time I went to train with the first team because I went to train with the reserve, because like you said, I was not turning up for training. So the coach kind of had enough, put me in the reserve. I got told to be with the reserve in the morning at 10 a.m. By 1 p.m. it was in the Daily Mail.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what is the point? So even people at the training ground calling in and telling information.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just, that was one of the reasons why I left England and I went to Belgium.
So you, like, let's get back into the story, like when you're leaving Stoke then. So you wanted to leave Stoke. Yeah, how did that come about? Where did you go? What happened?
So like you said, contract got terminated. And I just remember speaking to my agent, just saying, look, I want to get away from England, somewhere quiet, just want some peace of quiet, really. I don't want to be around media, I don't want to be around anything. And I went and played for a team called Zoet in a village in Belgium, which was a fantastic, like my first year was unbelievable. I loved the people there. We had a great run in the league. We finished about 7th, 6th, going to the semi-final of the cup. So we did really good. And then obviously the following season, COVID hit, so which was difficult for everyone. But my time in Belgium was amazing, especially my first year was amazing. Amazing, scoring goals, having the freedom to play football again, enjoy it. So I really loved it.
And you came back to the UK eventually, right? You came back to Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I came back to Sheffield Wednesday because obviously I've worked with Darren more before at West Brom. And we always kept in touch. I wasn't keen to come back, by the way, but because I had that phone call with him, because I already washed my hand with England. I didn't want to be involved or play in England anymore. So when he called, I was like, I'm not really sure. He's like, come on, we're gonna push for championship. We gave it a good run, and then when the contract ended there, I left again.
And that's when you ended up here in Cyprus, right? And yeah, how have you found it since you? What year did you move out here? 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
So how have you found it since you came out here?
The life is amazing, amazing. peace and quiet. You live by the beach. You know, you can't complain. The weather's always good. My son loves it here. Obviously, the football's not the best. But I knew what I was signing for when I came here.
What's looking back on your career? Do you ever sit there at night and have like late night thoughts and think about what could have been if certain things hadn't happened?
Oh yeah,
Really?
of course, of course. You go through a cycle in it sometimes where you're really down and you think about, imagine if I did play for England, if I went to Tottenham, if that happened, where will I be? Or when you see like your ex-players, ex-teammates, like Harry Kane playing and stuff like that, Raheem Sterling, you think, look what they've got. Where would I be if I had somebody around, or I had the right advice, the right frame of mind, the discipline. So yeah, you have regrets for sure.
Do you find it difficult?
Yeah. Still. Especially when, not now, when I first like started to think about it really deep, like 28, 29, when you're watching a Premier League match and you see somebody that you played with and you think I was way better than them, and they've had a 10-year career at a high level, and you start to question yourself, like, you messed up big time.
Really?
Yeah. Messed up big time.
But I think it's harsh to say it's you. Okay, based on what you just said. So looking back, what do you think was the biggest mistake of your career and why?
Biggest mistake? I think not listening to advice. I think that was my biggest mistake, because I was not a good listener. So I think that didn't help. I wanted to get burned first before I learn. So that's my biggest mistake.
Can you give any examples of like advice you've been given that you wish you'd taken?
I had advice like, you know, stop hanging around with the people that are not into football, hang around with people that are in football because you're in the same field. But I was always loyal to my old friends. So yeah.
Have you got any sort of like crazy stories that you can talk about like behind the scenes in football? Any mad parties or anything like that you experienced?
Not really. No, like just a typical football life, innit? Like, I remember one Christmas do at West Brom. We absolutely trashed the hotel.
Really?
Yeah, like if you fall asleep, somebody had a master key. He was going around people's rooms and putting iron board on your bed while you're asleep, shaving cream everywhere, ice bucket. Yeah, it was fun. That was funny. But I've had a few. Like I've had my first year at Stoke. I signed for Stoke, right? And I think it's March, international break, they used to go to Dubai. And we went to Dubai, right? We got there. Obviously I've just signed, I'm new. And then the rules were you have to be downstairs for breakfast, train, and after that, the coach does not want to see your face in their hotel because he used to play golf. Yeah. So he wants everybody out the hotel, go and do whatever you're doing in Dubai. So imagine you're from 8 o'clock till 11. Yeah. You gotta be professional. After that, you're free to do whatever you're doing. Yeah. So I remember my first night, I can just hear people leaving. Like, everybody's leaving. Like, everyone got a rented car, everybody's left. Yeah. I'm in a room by myself. I'm thinking, well, I don't want to leave. I'm new to this club. Yeah. After the third day, mate, I was like, F this. Got myself a car and I was going. And you can even hear people coming back at like 6 a.m., 4 a.m. drunk. Yeah, I just remember when we got back to England, we got banned from Dubai. Chairman said, that's it. We're not going back to Dubai. We lost Tottenham 7-0, I think. Really?
What, just because everyone was out there partying?
But we went, it wasn't really a training camp. It was more like a holiday.
That's so funny. Fair enough. Based on everything you've been through and you've experienced, if your kids, I don't know if they already are, but if your kids are showing signs of like, you know, wanting to get into football, wanting to become footballers.
Yeah.
How would you deal with that?
Well, my son is playing for an academy out here. Obviously, of course, I think I've got a lot of experience, good and bad, that I can pass on and kind of lead him. But really and truly, if it was up to me, I wouldn't want him to be a footballer.
Really?
Yeah, I think the game will get worse and worse when it comes to business.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Just the way he's been. Like, look now it's about stats. Nobody watches football for the enjoyment. Everyone's just stats. How many this player scored, goal involvement, this and that and the other. Nobody plays like before. It's all tactical now. You got to stay in a position. It's all like a chess game, you know what I mean? Like, when you watch Man City, they're the best, but how boring is it to watch them? Everything is just tactical. You move here, he does that. Haaland doesn't touch the ball for 80 minutes, scores 2, is man of the match. Like, that's just, it's not the same like before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think that was a big factor in you falling out of love with the game as well?
100%, yeah. 100%. You won't find Ronaldinho's now. You ain't gonna find a Ronaldinho obviously Messi is different. But like somebody that will actually entertain you, you ain't gonna find that anymore.
Who's the best player you played with, in your opinion, and why?
Same team, I always says this, Graham Dorrans.
Graham Dorrans?
Yeah.
Really? I did not expect that on.
I swear, yeah, he was technically gifted, man.
Really?
Absolutely amazing player. Yeah, amazing player. Never spoke as well, I was very quiet, but he let his feet speak.
Really?
Yeah. Go on YouTube, put in Graham Dorrans, West Bromwich. He had one great season he had at West Brom in the Championship, Player of the Year. Unbelievable player.
I'm just thinking about some of the names you've played with. Like, I would not expect that. Even the players you were quoting at Stoke, like Shaqiri's had a great career.
Yeah, but he wasn't the best.
Bojan was a baller back when he was younger.
Yeah, they were all great ballers, but I think for me, playing with Graham...
Even England under-21s players, like, who do you play with? Oxlade-Chamberlain, maybe?
Yeah.
These guys.
Chamberlain, Sterling, I played them with Harry Kane.
Harry Kane?
Yeah, but Harry Kane was not Harry Kane now.
Oh, okay.
I was playing ahead of him.
Okay. I guess your answer to that question is probably the same for the second question I was going to ask you, is who's the most underrated player you played with?
Oh, he wasn't underrated. He got rated. Underrated. Dawson, actually. I think he was underrated. Yeah. Things like, is that Wolves now? Craig Dawson, defender. Used to be at West Ham. I think he's underrated. He was professional. Yeah. Technically gifted as well. Good defender. Top pro. Busy. Super busy.
Really?
Yeah. He used to come in like 2 hours before everyone. Every morning. But I guess that's why he's at the top now. Still playing.
Thanks. I've realised there's a big story in your career that we missed out, which is the drugs test, right?
Yeah.
So what happened with that? You failed a drugs test.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So, same again, been out, night out.
Were you at Stoke?
No, West Brom. Okay. My drink got spiked.
Were you out in Birmingham?
Yeah, Birmingham. And then I remember just the club calling me, Saido, before training, make sure you come in the office. Yeah. Sporting director went in the office, sat down, and he just gave me a paper like, you failed a drug test. And he said like some drug that I've never even heard of.
Really?
I was thinking, what? Then he's like, look, we can appeal it and do another sample, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, of course. Did another sample. Same thing. Paid to do my hair, because if you do your hair, you can show how far it is. And my hair didn't even show nothing really, just showed that it's happened once. I think it was MDMA. Is that how you say MDMA? Yeah, that one. And then and I appealed it, and I went to the court in Wembley to FA to say my side of the story. We had like CCTV cameras from the club, everything. So they only banned me for 8 weeks. Well, when they were investigating, I wasn't playing for 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't play for 8 weeks. And then by the time the investigation finished, I already served my time. And then that was it. It was just 8 weeks, yeah.
So did you win your appeal or not?
Yeah, I won it, obviously. I would have got banned more.
Yeah.
but the 8 weeks was all they gave me because it was the first time, and the blood test and all of that showed that he's only been in the system once. Yeah, I've never even spoke about that actually. Before I signed, actually, Stoke called me. And they were like, "What's this drug thing I'm hearing? The drug test thing we're hearing?" And we had to be honest with them. And West Brom gave them all the paperwork and all of that. So, yeah.
Something we're trying to do on this series is that we're trying to get everyone to ask the audience a question that you want to know in the comments. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you'd want to ask them?
My question would be, for the rising ballers audience, would be, what's the best piece of advice you've been given, and how did it work for you?